Okay, recording started. Okay. Everybody good?
We're good.
Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 64 of the Codependent Knitters. And today I have a special guest. Instead of Lisa, she had some other commitments and has been really busy lately. So we discussed and agreed to invite my sister MaryAnn to co-host with me today. So this is my sister MaryAnn.
And that is my sister Dawn.
And today she's a codependent knitter.
Very much so.
Yeah. So I'm coming to you from Sarnia, Ontario. And
I'm coming from Oakbank, Manitoba.
We're gonna do our usual things with the episode, but first I wanted to do a really quick interview with MaryAnn and just have you tell us about your knitting and crafting history. When did you learn to knit? How long have you been knitting? What do you like to knit? That kind of thing. Just give us a summary of your knitting history.
Okay. Well, like many of us, we kind of learned from our mom or, grandparent. I didn't have any grandparents around, so I did learn from my mom. She was a very prolific knitter and crocheter and sewer. So I learned all of those things, didn't necessarily pick it up seriously until I was married. And then I decided to make a sweater and couldn't figure out, it was bottom up, couldn't figure out how to put the sleeves on. And so at that point I had to call her to say, so hypothetically, if somebody was knitting a sweater, and then she figured out that I was knitting a sweater. And from there on in, it was just off to the races. Off we went. So yeah, so knitting, crochet, used to do a lot of sewing when the kids were little. Sewed a lot of my maternity clothes, back then too. And it just progressed from there. So really got into serious knitting probably around 2016 again. That's when I really picked it up. And of course, podcasts were well in the works, and there was lots out there. So it was fun to see all the ideas and get all the new info.
Yeah. I should say two things. One, if you hear a little bit of crackling on the audio, because I did just hear a little bit, we are trying out a new platform today called StreamYard. So that's new. And also, there's just the little bit of crackling on the audio. We're aware of it and we've done what we can to minimize it. So just FYI that, yes, we know that's an issue, but we're getting to explore it with this new platform. And the other thing is, so MaryAnn mentioned her mom, and we won't get into the whole story. It's a really wonderful story, but we actually have the same birth mother. And then MaryAnn,
I was adopted. Mm-hmm. And so I have my adopted mom who I grew up with right from birth.
Yeah. Yeah. So we say my mom and she says her mom, and and that's a story for another day. And we're family and we're sisters. So that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there anything else you wanted to add about your story?
No, I don't think so. I mean, well, the funny story that you and I have is I remember when we first kind of met and we started talking about knitting and stuff, I would knit a few mittens, and you would knit mittens. You wouldn't do the thumbs, and I wouldn't do the thumbs. We would leave the thumbs for our mothers to do.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Yeah. And now you're a very prolific sweater knitter.
Yes.
Like that's your jam.
That's my main hobby. Yes.
All right. Okay. So let's kick it off. First off, I have a giveaway, a prize from our New to Me techniques. Our first phase was the theme color work. So we were encouraging people to do any kind of color work technique that is new to you. Just expand your toolkit a little bit and have some fun. So we had only 3 entries, and they were all from the same knitter, and she is Knit Crazy Kathy. So she did 3 pairs of socks, and they are all very different. And I encourage you to go and check out the thread on Ravelry, the FO thread, because they're all very different. And she did one. I'll pop an image up on the screen here. It is Intarsia in the round, and they're just amazing. You'll see the picture, but there's a girl holding balloons and all those different colors. Intarsia is not something I'm a big fan of. So to do them on socks and that many colors, I would never. So thank you, Kathy. Congratulations. we're going to send you a skein of Barnyard Knits.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful. The colorway, now what's written on here is Pink Robin. I actually bought this from a friend who was destashing. So we're going to give this to you, but it's gorgeous yarn.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, Kathy, you just need to get in touch with me and get me your mailing address, and I'll get that out to you. And I will probably, I think you're in Canada, but I will still vacuum seal it. So I'll open the skein and vacuum seal it, and that will cost me a third of what it would normally to ship. So, yeah. And then we are now in our second phase, and the theme for that is lace. So anything lace. It doesn't have to be socks. It can be anything with any kind of lace. This is lace work, you know, these little holes. You know, it could be a simple yarn over, or like a feather and fan, or it could be a whole all over lace knitting project if that's what you're into. And you have till the end of August to put your FOs. Anything you finish between May and August, you can enter in that technique for lace. And again, tell us about the project when you post it in the FO thread and all the details. And now that I'm thinking about it, you recently did, you're not a big sock knitter, MaryAnn, but you recently did a pair of socks where you did like a feather and fan kind of pattern, didn't you?
Yeah, it's a lace Trividin. I should have had that pulled up.
Okay.
Yeah, so I made them. I started them just before we went on our Mexico trip because I thought that's a nice small thing to work on around the pool, you know, at the beach. And got them done, got them home. Of course, my mom saw them and loved them, so I gifted them to her.
Nice.
So yeah, so I don't knit a whole lot of socks, but it was, you know, and you had given me the yarn. It was the tough sock. Was it tough sock?
The Sweet Georgia?
The Sweet Georgia, yes. And so it was a really nice kind of a deep creamy beige color. And yeah, they're very nice, very easy, a lot easier than what I thought they were going to be. And yeah, and they both ended up being the same size, so I was happy with that.
Awesome. Well, oh, and I should also mention, because for all of these knit-alongs, Nancy Wheeler, who is Knit Sip Happy, has donated sock patterns. So actually, Kathy, you also you're going to win a copy of her Ravishing sock pattern, which I have finished. So I'll show them to you in the FOs. But it has like just a little bit, it's more twisted stitches. But we decided to include that. So I think it's the Ravishing sock pattern, so that if you want to knit it for this knit along, you can. And she also, I'll show you when we do widths, she also has a pattern out called Tits Up, which has a really pretty pattern down the top of the foot too. Yes. And that's a reference to the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel show on Netflix, because the pattern released on the day that the final season opened. So yeah, so that was lace. And I'm doing Nancy's Tits Up pattern. And then she also has, she has a couple of other patterns she's released recently too. So she's got some really nice patterns, and they're well written, and they're, you know, easy to knit. Yeah. Lots of fun. I don't know what I'm going to do if it's a new to me technique. Well, other than a new pattern, but there's a lot of options. So yeah, so join in anything. It doesn't have to be, and it doesn't have to be full lace, even if you just have a little bit of lace in the pattern. So yeah. Nice. Okay. Other housekeeping things quickly. Oh, the final phase will be cables and twisted stitches. So just FYI, that's coming up. Nice. We also have our Year of Sweaters make along. So any sweater that you make this year. And I recently, Gingersnap was at a pop-up shop at Little Red Mitten after they were in Montreal. So I popped in to see them, and I picked up a few goodies. I can talk about those quickly now. They have this zebra, they call it a zebra base. So it's part marled, part not. And then they dye on that. And I've been in a really pink mood lately. Like, isn't this pretty?
Very nice.
This is called Rubble Bum, and it's pinks and purples. The color is exact, like what you see on the screen is exactly how it looks in real life. So I grabbed that, and then they also have this. It's actually a tweed fingering, a confetti tweed. So this is called Space Cowboy, and it is black light reactive. So if I ever go, go to the disco. Glow bowling. Yeah. Glow bowling, glow mini golf, but it is blacklight reactive. So I picked up those and I thought I was done. And
you're never done.
then there was this mohair, which no, I had no plans for it. The color, look at that color. It's just so rich. Yeah. So this is their fluff mohair. It is a 7228 kid mohair and silk. And this is the color Kai, Kai. Nice. And then Kim was telling me about, I was with a few other knitters and we were standing near their pixel, their pixel fade. If you haven't seen that, it's where they have a color that it's kind of like pixeled, speckledy, I guess, with a natural. And then it lightens and then goes into the next one and darkens. So Kim showed me 2 pictures of people that have made sweaters using their pixel fade yarn. And they did the pixel fade in the yoke. So a circular yoke is perfect. And then when they hit the final solid, they continued in the rest of that sweater. So they had this colorway.
Oh, very nice.
This is Siren. It's the pixel sock set. And I don't know if I would do this color at the neck. I don't know if I would start with the natural and alternate it. I don't know if I'd want this solid at the neck. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet if I make that sweater. But if I do, I also bought enough to finish it in the Kai.
Good.
Yeah. So this is the same as the mohair. This is the Kai. So just a really neat idea for using that. It doesn't have to be socks. And what you do is because they're in 2 skeins, you just alternate the skeins so you're at the same spot and it extends the fade.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
Nice.
And then the very generous Kim and Colin donated a prize to our podcast. And this is going to be one of the prizes for the year-long sweater make-along. So she asked if I wanted any prizes. And I said, well, that would be lovely. That would be very generous. Yeah. So she gave me this coffee bag. I love it.
Very nice.
Yeah. Coffee project bag. I'll hold it back so you can see it. And then she told Colin to go get the coffee yarn because it was out in the truck. So he came in with this 4 full skeins.
Oh, wow.
In this beautiful golden color to the brown.
Oh, very
Isn't that just amazing?
Yeah.
So generous. So it's a little bit crackly. So there's 4 full skeins. It's the Coffee House Fade set on their Lush fingering 75/25 merino nylon. So thank you, Kim and Colin. You are just the friendliest, nicest, kindest, most generous people.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we appreciate that support so much. So yeah, that's a future prize for our year-long sweater make-along.
Good.
Yeah, and that's all the make-along stuff I have right now. The Year of Sweaters make-along. In addition to, I have a lot of talking because I've got some catching up to do. So sorry, MaryAnn, you're going to sit and watch.
That's all good.
But I also went to Stitch North, which is the Evertote stitching retreat. And that was really fun. 220, 230 stitchers in the meeting room. And she does it for 2 weekends. It is now sold out for 2024. However, there is a waiting list and there are always people who end up canceling. Life happens. They end up not being able to go. So if you are interested in Stitch North, there's information on their website. You email them and they will put you on a waiting list. And there are 2 weekends to choose from, the last 2 weekends in April. So I'm going to the second last weekend, known as weekend 1. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. But I'm mentioning it because, because you may be interested in going. But also, she's doing a special collaboration for Sampler September. So there is a cross-stitch pattern release. There is floss dyed by Roxy Floss Co. Fabric for the project dyed by Roxy Floss Co. Special project bag from Evertote. The pattern is by Ellen Reed of Maximum Cross Stitch Power Hour. And a self-striping sock yarn dyed by Timber Yarns. So you do not have to buy the whole kit and caboodle. You can just order the yarn. And right now it is available exclusively from Evertote. And this is what it looks like. Now this is skeined and it's called Sampler Stripe Timber 2023. And the colors in it, you can see this on the website too. They have a mini skein set, so you can see all the colors. and I've ordered the mini skein set. And I've ordered another skein of this. So here's the colors that are in it.
Mm.
So it's a little different, and it's just, these are all colors that are actually in the sampler. So if you're a stitcher and you're interested in doing that too, you can order some or all of the, go back this way, or all the kit. So it's just beautiful, and I'm going to be knitting some socks. I had started doing some colorwork socks, and I can show you, yeah, there's still a little bit on the needles, but I think I want to change what I want to do when I get the mini skeins, because this right now restricts me as to what pattern I can do that I can complete within the stripe, if that makes sense. But I had started.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I'm going to start over and use the mini skeins, and I think I'm going to do the pattern by Jamie Lomax, the Petiteknit Co. The doodle, I think it's called the Doodle Socks, and it's all like just colorwork designs, and that way I can use whatever amount of the color that I need. So yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So super beautiful, available now. It was supposed to ship in July because they're doing knit alongs, and Caroline will be doing a make along. So I don't know for sure if she's shipping earlier, but that information will be on her website. Oh, and one last plug for her. There is also another stitching retreat this fall in October. There are 2 weekends. For Jason DeGraff is coming over. That's Modern Folk Embroidery. He's a well-known pattern designer for cross stitch, and he's coming to London, and he will be hosting, it's a Jacob themed weekend, and there are special kits that will be, you purchase it and then you'll get it that weekend. He's going to be doing some talks. He does a lot of reproduction samplers, so it'll be very interesting, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's right in London, Ontario. So yeah, check that out. It's called Jacob Palooza. Yeah, so that's those 2 events. I went to, it was a one-day stitching day put on by the Thoughtful Artisan and Richard DeVries, and it was in Woodstock at a golf course. So we got lunch, and there were some, pastries and stuff for breakfast, and there was a special colorway that we received and a pattern to knit for a shawl. I had started the shawl, and then I kind of thought, I don't know if I want to do specifically that. So I undid mine, but this is the yarn that was specially dyed.
Oh,
it's really pretty.
Really nice.
It's called Rain Dancing. So I had to wind mine back up, but it's got a little bit of everything in there.
It does.
Yeah. And I think I want to do something with 2 colors, but something that has maybe some mosaic knitting, something like that. So I haven't fully decided, but that was kind of my vision for this skein. It's just too pretty. I don't want it to be socks. I want it to be something wearable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Richard does beautiful speckles, like gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the Thoughtful Artisan. And she has been doing a few times a year these events, like one-day events. She has the yarn truck, so she goes to different festivals, and she goes to different locations. And she is now going to be opening up her own brick and mortar store in Woodstock. So follow the Thoughtful Artisan and find out more about that. I know she has the keys to her shop. I also know she has another job. I don't know when she's planning on opening, but I'm sure it'll be beautiful. She has beautiful yarns in her truck. So,
yeah. Oh, I hope she's open when I come in the fall.
Oh yeah, she will be. Yeah. Oh, that's a great idea, because we're going to be going to Paris. So yeah, tell us about that. Your news.
My news that I'm coming there again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got my flight booked. So coming for Woodstock again, and spend the week there and visit some friends and see all of my friends on the internet in real life. I'm looking forward to it again. This will be year 3.
I was just thinking, it's the 3rd year you've come for Woolstock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. No, we didn't talk about, MaryAnn, what we're wearing.
What we're wearing.
What are you wearing?
All right. Can you see it?
We're going to have to back up a little bit. Oh my goodness.
Is it sparkling?
Oh yes.
So I've nicknamed this my no frills, all thrills roller disco sweater.
I love it.
So it is the no frill sweater by Petiteknit. Our friend Heather of Timber Yarns was destashing, so she was showing us this, and I thought, yeah, no, I have to have that. So it is by Spectrum Fibre, and it's called Spice, and it's their twisted sock, and I paired it with the Cosmos Stardust. So together like this, you kind of go, huh? But man, did it turn out nice.
So those sequins are a gold thread with multicolored sequins.
Yes.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Because I have some that are gold on gold, but I like that.
Okay.
Color.
Yeah. Yeah. And it went so well with this sweater. So I had finished it last week, and I did a split hem with a twisted rib on, high-low hem, and it just wasn't sitting right. So I ripped that all out, and actually it ripped out pretty good considering all the sequences that were in there. And then what I did at the bottom is I just did a little bit of increases, so it was a little bit of hip shaping, and then I did some short rows to do a high-low hem, and just a simple twisted rib at the bottom. So revamped it, like it way better. And that's just it. You have to, if you don't like something in your knitting, you can pull it back and redo it, and then you're going to be happier with it. So yeah.
So that's your most recent FO.
Yeah, finished that one just a few nights. Refinished it just a few nights ago. Yeah.
I'm wearing Derecho. It's by Alison Green, and it's in Berroco Vintage Light, and I just love it. I finished it last summer, last summer, fall, and it's just a great day for wearing it. It's not too hot out. It's very lightweight. I love these. They're just yarn overs. That's what the increases are. Yarn overs and then a purl row. And I want to knit this same thing again, but I wouldn't do these ridges. I wouldn't do the yarn overs. I'll just do lifted increases. Okay. So I want to do another summer t-shirt using this pattern because I love the fit of it, and it's just easy, and so that's what I'm wearing. An old
yeah. Good.
Okay, what else? I went to a crank in Ingersoll. I took where is she? This way. No, this way. Hillary Crank.
There she is.
So we went to a crank in, and my goal that day was to practice heels, because you can do an entire sock on the sock machine. So I successfully made 2 heels, made them side by side. So one after the other, just to practice. So it's basically just a short row heel that you do on the machine. So I have 2 of them.
Yeah. Good.
And then I did a few other tubes, and I've got some socks that I finished from one of my tubes that I cranked. So that was a lot of fun. And while I was there were a couple vendors. So I do have a little bit of stash, new stash. So there was Fisher Wools, and I think she might be only wholesale. She is from Ontario, but she had like 1,000-gram cones.
Wow.
Of sock yarn, right? So it's the same one, but a lot of people make them and sell them. And so she had 1,000-gram, 500-gram cones, but she also had a lot of smaller cones. And so this is a flata sock, and you can see here what it's going to do. Oh, wait, right here.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. That's a really good idea. Yeah.
I'm backwards there. And so I picked up that. I picked up this because it's a really pretty marl. And the lime green is just so you can have identical socks. There's just a leader worked into it, and that's the design of that. That's also flata sock. There was some opal. I just thought this is nice. It's been nice colors for guys, right? Nice dark color. And then Coriander Knits was there, and I love her yarn. She does a lot of these gradient cakes. So I got, these will be matching for socks. And this caught my eye. Again, I'm in a pinky mood, so I just thought that was really pretty. So I got that. And a couple mini skeins from her. And then there was a new to me, I think he's fairly new to dyeing, of Piper's Knits. Or Jason and Justin, there was 2 of them that were working. And I think it's Justin who does the dyeing. But
wow, what a great color.
It's just fun. So I don't know. I just thought it was fun. So I had to buy this. Yeah. So he was there. So those are my finds from, they had vendors there as well. And lunch was provided. It was a lot of fun. I went with Vicky and met a few other new friends there.
Yeah.
I I talked about Gingersnap, and then finally Fergus Festival. So that was just 2 weeks ago, the Fergus Fibre Festival. So much fun. So next year, if you get a chance to go, if you can make it in a day trip, it's a really neat town, and I would love to go back and spend some time and just shop. I didn't even have time to shop, so I was invited along with Sandy, who is Knit Cranker on Instagram, and we were invited by Heather to bring our crankers, our CSMs, and have them in the booth. So if anybody wanted tubes cranked, we were cranking for hire. And then it was Heather's first show exclusively, like having a timber yarns booth. So Heather and David were very busy, and I helped out with some of the customers. I mean, I'm familiar with her yarns, and so I helped her out too when the booth was really busy. I had no time to go shop. I did have to go do some pickups at either end of the street. It was an outdoor street festival. Yeah. But they had bagpipers, and like they had a town crier because they had a bunch of door prizes, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. So on one of my little runs down to the end, I did buy one skein of yarn because I was running by a booth and it caught my eye because look at the color. Oh, it's just so pretty. So this is from Humming Hill Alpacas, and it actually doesn't have alpaca in it.
It doesn't have alpaca in it?
No, it's wool cashmere silk.
Oh, I was gonna say because it looks pretty drapey. Yes.
Yeah,
very
it's really
nice.
But that's the cashmere and the silk in it, right?
Yeah.
Like even just 15% cashmere. Oh, this is 10% in for nylon, but she's got wool cashmere silk. Anyway, I will use it for socks probably, but it was just really pretty and it caught my eye. However, spending time in the Timber Yarns booth, I did pick up some timber yarn. These mini skein sets were so much fun. So I picked out some more colors. So I'm just going to kind of put them in order of, I don't know how they might go. So these are all mini skeins that I picked out to go with each other, kind of do a bit of a fade. So I think they'd be beautiful anything. So yeah, these are all 20-gram mini skeins. So I mean, you can even use them for color work and just fade them. Yeah. And then I was helping a customer and we were looking at Serendipity, which is one of my favorites. And right next to it, very similar, lighter, a few fewer colors, is S'mores. And I'd only seen S'mores online, but in person, it's beautiful. So it's brown and cream and a bit of a yellow, and then it's got this kind of a purpley plum color. Yeah. And I had to get it. And then she had these little tiny minis called Itty Bitties. And they're self-striping that are leftovers from when she cranks a sock tube. So it's like, she's not going to make these all the time, but whatever yarn she has left over from her samples, then she wants them into these Itty Bitties. So I bought two. This is Hamilton. This way. And I think it would make a really cool heel and toe for this, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
really nice.
So you spend time in all that beautiful yarn. Can't help it.
Exactly.
So beautiful. While we were there, I did some cranking. I did some experimenting on different cylinder sizes to see what the sock width would be like. And I'll just show it really quickly so people understand. So I have 54, 60, 64, and 72 cylinders. So what I did was I cranked a tube on the tightest tension that I can get, because once you go too tight, the stitches pop off. So you have to dial it back. So the tightest tension I could get on each one to know the limitations of that cylinder. So this is done on the 60 stitch. And this works out to be the perfect like tension that I like my socks, like tube size and, to fit my foot. Then I did, and this color is antioxidant. This is tequila. And if I lay it on top, hopefully you can kind of see, it's just a little bit wider, right? Yeah. So a little bit bigger. This is the 64 stitch. And then from the 64 stitch on the 72, so that's a big jump. Yeah. This is called Forest. And I put them on top of each other. You can see, let's line it up here. You can see it's a little bit wider. Yeah. So yeah, just so if people were interested and didn't know what size they wanted, then it just shows them the different tube sizes. So a lot of people recommend a 72 for a man's foot. Even a 64, because you can do it a little bit looser. But again, if you go too loose, the stitches pop off. So there's kind of like a little range that you can adjust. So that was fun.
That's good that you're really figuring that out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Experimenting with that.
Because you don't want to crank up a bunch of tubes and then the socks are too loose and you don't like it. Like for me, I want them to fit. And the majority of this will be for me. But if someone does ask me, and actually a friend did send me some yarn and wants me to, our friend Shirley wants me to crank a bunch of tubes. So she has to get back to me with what size do you like, so that I know what to crank them for her. And that's all the excitement I've had. Yeah, so now it's just all the knitting. Yeah. We've kind of put a little bit in here, but a little more knitting. All right. Let's talk FOs.
Okay.
And maybe we'll take turns. You've got a lot. You're going to show a bunch of your recent FOs. So let's start with you. You're our special guest.
Okay. All right. So so this is a no frills. I did a no frills earlier in let me see. I did that one just in spring, in April. So I just did it in a mohair held with the Holst garn, the tides.
Nice.
So, yeah. So that was just basic, raglan.
A raglan.
Yeah. Now her raglan doesn't call for the wider raglan in there, so I did.
Okay.
Yeah. So just a little bit wider raglan in there. And yeah, I did a big Holst order just, I think early December. So I think I ordered 5 cones. And so I've been using up all of those cones and matching them with some stuff and not matching them with other things. So
can I when you said you did a wider raglan, you mean like you add a stitch before the increase Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Well, actually in between the 2 increases, because she only had like an increase, a stitch and an increase.
Okay.
And I did the increase, 3 stitches and the increase.
Okay.
Yeah. So it just gives that little bit of a wider band.
Yeah.
This sweater, I'll pull a little closer. I did a twisted. I did a twisted stitch there.
Okay.
So just to kind of mix it up a little bit, and that's the beauty of a very basic sweater like that. You can kind of mess around with it. And and then I did one for my youngest daughter, Kendra, same sweater. But then you'll have to pull up a picture and show that one. But I did a lot of drop stitches in it.
Oh, I love
it. So it's like a ripped look. And then some are vertical, some are horizontal. And so we just call that her beatnik sweater. So so that was another one that out of that pattern, again, you just mess around with it and you can come up with some really neat things.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Cool. And I get a sweater done about every 3 to 4 weeks. That's sort of my time frame. But then usually I'm only knitting on a sweater. The odd time I'll have like a sock on the go or not very many hats or shawls. But so typically it's just, you're working on a sweater.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Holst has been keeping me busy for the last few months.
Well, I don't have a sweater FO, but I have a lot of socks. So I mentioned I had done some socks from a sock tube. So this is a tube I cranked. The yarn is by Fireweed Fibre Co. And the color is Deck the Halls. So it was one of their Christmas colorways. And I love it. And then I had a green. I think the green was from another mini skein set, but it's perfect. It just works perfectly. So I did an afterthought heel, a toe. I did a rounded toe, and there are instructions in our Ravelry group for sock toe styles, and there are instructions for the rounded toe. So I did that, and then I knit the ribbed cuff because I have not mastered ribbing. I haven't even tried ribbing on my sock machine. And to get this nice no flare sloppy looking edge when you knit bottom up, I used Sheena's. It's Sheena's stretchy no flare bind off, and I'll put a link in our notes down below. It's a YouTube video, and it basically is just, instead of adding a stitch like a yarn over before every bind off, you add it up before every second one. So that that's basically what it is, and it's great because it's just as stretchy. And it doesn't have that flare that a lot of them get. So I've got my 2 socks. And look at how perfectly the yarn, it's consistent all the way through.
Yeah.
And then there's enough of the tube left at this gauge. I get the longest tube on the 60 stitch. So basically I could get, if I did a different colored cuff, and a bit more toe, there we go. If I use half of this tube, I could get another pair of slightly shorter socks. I did these a bit longer leg than normally I do. So yeah, so I can get 2 pairs of socks from a tube on my 60 stitch cylinder, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So,
well, I did a sock too, and of course this is with timber yarns. It's the Sooty Santa.
Yeah,
So
love it.
I got that from Heather, and just a very vanilla sock, and then I just added a bit of a ribbing.
Oh yeah.
Hardly see it, but just to give it a little bit of interest. Yeah, and the cuff and the toe in her black. So that was with the Sooty Santa. So that was my second sock this year.
And I think her black is called Licorice. That's her darkest.
It is called Licorice, yes. Yeah.
Awesome. She is doing so much with the marls, and she's got some new stuff coming out with the marls that she's going to be talking about very soon. So follow Timber Yarns.
Yeah.
Because I want to do someday, I want to order a sweater quantity and do a sweater quantity in not a striped, but a solid marl.
But a solid.
So yeah, there's some beautiful colors, and yeah. Okay, I'll go again.
Okay.
Because I'm still so another sock tube sock. This is my second pair of FOs. This is a DK. So I don't think I showed them on the last episode. If I did, I'm sorry, but you're hearing about it again. So this is a DK tube that I did on my 54 stitch cylinder, and the yarn is by Gingersnap, and I did a hung hem. So that's where you can do this by hand, but it's basically where it's longer, and if you were hand knitting it, you would fold it down and whip stitch it. On the machine, you lift stitches up and hook them back on top, and then keep going. So it self knits it together, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then I did it with these little picots, which is just you hook every other stitch on the next one. So you're basically making a yarn, like a knit two together. And then when you knit again, it does the yarn over for you when you go back around. So then I hand knit the afterthought heels and the toes. And I got a little pair of DK socks that I did on my machine. So those are fun. And Gingersnap, I couldn't find the tag, and I can't remember the colorway. It's probably from about 2 years ago, so I don't know if it's a current colorway, but you can see the colors. It's really pretty.
Yeah.
And that's exactly, no, it's a little bit darker. No, that's pretty close. Okay, you go.
Right. So I did another Holst sweater. This one is called Spring is in the Air. It's by Hinter Stein, and it's...
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and then I did 3/4 length sleeves, and then I added the pattern.
Oh yeah. Oh, I like that.
The sleeve, and then a high-low hem, and I did it at the bottom as well.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I might have to do that too. I love that. I love that color. I think you should just give it to me. Bring it in October.
Okay. She has some really nice patterns.
She does.
Yeah, really nice. Now,
go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, did you finish your?
No, I was just gonna mention it. She's the designer of the little oysters. So we both knit that. We both knit it in different shades of pink, and I have to finish this other sweater, and then I'm gonna knit. Finish my little oysters. My little oysters has mohair in it, so it's too warm to wear anytime soon. So.
Yeah. So here's my little oysters.
Oh.
And I did mine with Holst and the brushed alpaca, brushed alpaca. So yeah, and I did a full length sleeve, and then just did like
a little puffy sleeve, a gathered.
Yeah, I just gathered it right at the end.
Yeah.
And then on the cuff or the hem, I did a broken rib.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. And that brushed alpaca is it's really soft, really light. It adds a lot more thickness to instead of a mohair. So you have to be a little bit careful of that. Because you know that it'll be a little bit thicker. But with the Holst being so fine, like a single strand, then it balances it out quite nicely. And
that's drops brushed alpaca.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
There are yarn shops in Ontario that carry it. We often order from Wool Warehouse in the UK because they have a huge selection and they carry like a lot of, if not all of the drop spaces. And so once in a while we'll put an order in, like not together because we're in different provinces, but you know, yeah.
Darn.
Oh, okay. Well, I have another pair of socks. This is these are my most recent finish. This is Wool Addicts Footprints yarn. So I got it at the Little Red Mitten, I believe. I think Wolseley Wool might carry this. And Heaven is Handmade in Sarnia, I'm pretty sure, got this in. So this is the tag, the Wool Addicts Footprints. And it is a blend of cotton, wool, and nylon. It's about half and half cotton wool. And this is the colorway I used.
Oh, nice.
So it's a like has a marled / hand spun type look, and it just knit up so pretty.
Yeah.
So I did a little ankle sock for summer because it's a cotton blend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So and I didn't have to care about matching them, of course, because so super easy, super fun. Ankle socks are so quick. This was a cuff down vanilla sock, your typical heel flap and gusset, rounded toe. I'm always doing the rounded toe now. I always do it. Yeah, I really like it. It just and the shape of my foot, it works well. Like some people have different shaped toes, so.
Well, I imagine it's like heels too. You find the heel that fits you best, and that's the one it's a go-to.
Yeah. What else have you brought?
So I did the Salty Air Tea. I started this one. I cast it on, and I think I did the ribbing before we went on the plane to Mexico. And now this is typically, this is designed to be a short sleeve sweater, slightly cropped. I did a long sleeve. So Holst again.
Oh.
Isn't that a pretty design?
You can see the drape in it just when you move it. Like, yeah,
really nice. And then so I did long sleeve, just with normal ribbing. Just sort of like lower hip kind of level. I don't like too short of a sweater. And that was a really fun pattern, really easy. Your repeats are short, like they're not long repeat lengths. Mm-hmm. So really easy to memorize as you go around. And it knit up really quick.
You know, when you were first knitting that, I thought, I don't think that's my jam. But just when you held it up again, like, it's just really nice.
It is.
Yeah, I like that. Do you find, so I think probably why I thought, I don't know, is because I don't want to knit anything where the lace shows your bra. Like, I don't want to have to wear a t-shirt or a tank top. I like when I don't have to do that. I can just,
no, I find like I'm good with that. Like I just wear it with, a beige colored bra, and then it's fine. Yeah.
Oh, good.
It's not too risky.
Yeah. And then I don't want to add, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say this was the Holst held just single strand.
Yeah. Oh, nice and light.
Yeah, nice and light. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that one I did in February.
12 a year.
Maybe.
I have this is also a recent finish, although I started it back in, I think, February. So this is the Ravishing, back up a bit, the Ravishing Socks pattern by Nancy Wheeler. And it's looking more purple. It's actually like a chambray blue. My color has changed in here. So yeah, it's a chambray blue color. And it has this twisted stitch down both sides of the foot, of the top of the foot. So it's also very memorable. I just used a marker at the beginning of each repeat to keep track of rows, because I find counting when there's like 2 sections of cable in here, like you can kind of see there's a little hole there. Yeah. So it just makes counting rows a little trickier to know how many you have between, like, straight rows between the cables. But I'm in love with twisted stitches. So I did the twisted stitch cuff and just let it blend down into I can't remember if the pattern called for that. It probably did. So yeah, I did that. I just love it. And it has, oh, it actually has a little bit, it's hard to see because it's right on the ridge of the sock. It has just the twisted stitches down the, oh, here, it's to the side here, down the back.
Oh, that's a nice feature.
It's a nice little detail, right? But yeah. So I'm very much, I had said at the beginning of the year that I wanted to knit more solid colored socks so that I, you know, I've got a lot of colorful pair. But this is my first one done, I think, of solid colored socks. And I really like it. And then, oh, the yarn is a one of a kind from Suzanne French, who's the proprietor of Knit Stitch London. And she dyed this, like, we're going back probably 6 or 7 years. Her dyeing label is, I think it was Yarnbird Studios. I don't know if she's still using that brand on her own yarn, but she is dyeing again. So she does have her own personal hand dyed available in her shop. She is in London. I have not been to her new shop, but I'm like, we should try and go there when you're here. Yeah. I haven't been there. I haven't seen her in person for quite a while. So yeah, that's another pair of finished socks. I love them. Yeah. What have you got?
I may have another sweater.
Oh, well. Oh, I love that one.
So this is the Fairy Garden, Fairy Bouquet.
Yeah.
Fairy Bouquet, sorry. So this.
That's amazing.
And then down the sleeve.
Yeah. Look at that. All the way down the sleeve. Right?
All the way down the sleeve, yeah. And then I did just a rapid decrease and then did that bicord.
Okay.
Again. And then the bottom is just twisted rib at the bottom. So this yarn is Manos del Uruguay Alegria in Royal. And then I held it with the Holst Titicaca, and that one is called Carbon Blue. And
beautiful.
Yeah, when you see it in real life, there's so much depth in there, and there's just a very faint hint of a purple.
Okay.
Just because one of the blues just has that faintness of a purple in there. So yeah, it's really nice.
That's stunning on, like, you wear that color just.
Yeah, the royal is really nice. So
gorgeous. That
one I did last. I got the yarn when I was at your place.
You got the Manos, yeah.
Yes. At
the Mitten?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then I think I had to order the Titicaca.
Yeah.
I ordered that. And so I started this like the end of October. So was probably done by mid-November.
Nice. I'm all out of FOs.
I have one more.
Okay.
Another sweater. All right. So again, Holst. And this is the Magnolia Light. Magnolia Bloom Light.
Okay.
So single strand, short sleeves.
That's the Holst Tides?
That's Holst Tides again. Yeah. So that's their wool silk.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And then just a high-low hem. You can see that it's just a little bit lower in the back. And this was fun. The baubles were fun. They're not really big baubles. Mm-hmm. They just hide in there quite nicely.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. So those are all my FOs.
Well, we're coming up on an hour, which is pretty good. And we just have some whips to talk about. So we're doing good for time. Yeah. Good. All right. Well, I'll mention my one pair of socks whip, which is the Nancy Wheeler pattern, the Tits Up pattern. So I'm just doing it on an undyed yarn, and I'm at the toe now. So the lace, this is how the lace looks.
Oh, that's so pretty.
Yeah. It's just this double row of these. I feel like I'm in my cameras backwards today, of these double cables. And yeah, really pretty, really easy to remember, repeat. So yeah, a pair of plain natural socks. I'm excited to have those. Yeah. What have you got on your needles?
So I'm doing a test knit of a sock, so I cannot show you the sock yet.
Oh, okay. I was
But
gonna.
I can, yeah, I can show you the yarn. So the yarn is by Cloud9 Fiberworks from Winnipeg. I go to a Sunday afternoon Norwood Naughty Knitters knitting group. So these are, these are the two yarns.
Those are nice. I like that kind of rusty red color.
Blowing out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one is called Blood Orange, and it's her 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. So that's Blood Orange. And then this one is called Pixel Garden.
Okay. Oh, pretty. That is really pretty.
Yeah. Yeah. Very nice. Got lots of different colors in there. Some greens and pinks and yellows, blues. Yeah. And that's her Cumulus sock base.
Okay.
So that's her.
Cloud9.
Yeah.
I'll have to check her out. Nice.
Yeah. Really, really nice yarns.
Yeah. How are you doing on that test knit?
Good. I'm the second sock. I'm just about a couple of rows, and then I'm ready to do the decrease for the toe, and then I'm done. Okay. So we can start showing pictures of them, I think around the 17th of June.
Okay.
So I'll probably put it on my Instagram.
Okay.
And then I think she was hoping to release the pattern like the end of June, start of July.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll put your Instagram handle on the screen. Okay. So yeah, if anyone wants to follow you, and see all your beautiful knitting. And obviously with the two colors, that is a color work sock. We can say that much.
Yes, it is. Yes.
There's some color work in it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I've seen it. It's really cute.
Yeah, it is really cute. Yeah. Yeah. It's very nice. And I'm doing the larger, the 72 stitch one. So I have a plan to give that one away to somebody.
Well, my other whip, this is the one I've been mostly knitting on, and I'm back to knitting a little more than I was. I mean, I had a lot of events that I mentioned, weekend events, and gardening, and I was preparing for the big plant sale that my neighbor across the street does that I help her with. And I was working two jobs for about a month and a half-ish. I was changing companies, and I wasn't sure I wanted to commit to the new company. I wanted to try them out. So I was working both companies sort of in parallel, and have finally committed. And now I'm just working with the one company. So also another transcription company in Australia, just different company. So I'm back to my sort of part-time, more flexible schedule for that, which gives me a little more knitting time. And I picked up Vilvaere, which is this, I'm doing it marled. So it's a big drop sleeve boxy sweater. And I marled neon pink with a gray. So if I show you the two yarns separately.
Put your sunglasses on for the pink.
Yeah. This pink hurts the eyes. This is called Pink Flamenco. It's Leo and Roxy.
What's that?
And then I am holding it with their basics pencil point just to tone it down a bit. So it really changes it. Like it almost gives it, it does tone it down, which I'm really happy with. So I'm just marling those together. And the bottom hem has this really neat lateral braid. I think a Latvian braid specifically, like you alternate the two colors. So it looks like each stitch is, you know,
a different
color.
Braid.
Yeah. So it's referred to, this was just referred to in the pattern as a lateral braid. And then you knit the hem, and then it's a double-faced hem. So you don't have to, but I did this, just the neon pink. So I will fold that over and tack it down. So the inside of the hem will be the neon pink. So I've cast off or bound off the hem, and now I just have to do the whip stitching. And the bottom of the body will be done, but I have two sleeves to do. So,
yeah. And
then finishing around the V-neck. So that is underway. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's nice. Like with the two yarns, the basics is a slightly lighter fingering. So I think it gives me more of a DK weight, like than worsted, but it's not super heavy. Like I could wear this in the summer on a cool night or whatever. Yeah. So, and I really like the drop sleeve style and fit on me. So,
Good. Well, my right now it's really, other than the socks, it's the only whip that I have. So I was saying to you earlier, we were Zooming this morning. I said, I think I'm gonna, now that I've split for the sleeves for this one, I'm gonna start thinking about another sweater to do, just so I have a yoke to do. Like it'll be some sort of a lace. But anyways, this is the Whitmore sweater by Amy Loudon. Oops.
Oh, that's pretty.
Isn't that really pretty? And I added baubles. Normally this would just be like a knit through the back loop.
Okay.
But I added baubles just to give it something a little bit different. I did just a rolled hem collar instead of the ribbing. Yikes! Instead of the ribbing. And then what I did in the front. So I'm not going to close it. It's just going to be an I-cord edging, and because I just want it to be an open summer cardi. It's just going to go over top of some blouses. Probably 3/4 length sleeves or elbow or just below elbow length, and then it'll be slightly cropped.
Okay.
Much. So again, it'll just be a really nice little lace cover up.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, and this is Holst again. The color is called fuchsia, and this is the same yarn that I used for the pink fuzzy sweater that I did earlier. This one.
Oh. So look at the other one had the mohair with it, or the
yeah. This one has mohair.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so changes it up a little bit, and
yeah,
cool.
So that, well, I have other whips, but some of them have just been, they're no different than I showed them last time. They've been sitting. So yeah. I am working on, this is a sock tube that I actually ordered from Frankie Grey Fibres, that's the company with Jody Brown and one of her kids. And this is a sock tube that I ordered, and I think it just had a number. I don't think this one had a name, but it's DK. So, and she does her DK socks on a 40, I think it's a 48 cylinder. So these are they're actually fairly similar to the ones I did on my 54, but they're probably a little bit narrower tube. So it came with these two minis, and I was like, I don't know if I'm feeling the gold or the contrast. So I just unraveled from one end and knit the toe, little rounded toe. Yeah. And then I'm doing the heel, and I think I'm at where I need to just Kitchener it. And then I'll probably do the same with the other one. These aren't going to be very long, but I'm obviously not going to make my sock this long.
Yeah.
That's no. And it won't be wide enough in the leg with this being a narrower tube on DK. So I'll have a little bit left over, and I don't know if I'll do another little ankle sock with them with a bit more contrast or what exactly. So so once I'm done the heel on this, I'll decide what I want to do for the leg length and the cuff. And I think same thing. I'll just reknit it, rib it up, and use that no flare bind off. So yeah, but it's really pretty.
It is.
It's got this like orangey peachy rust little speckle.
That coppery color in there is very nice.
And again, look how nicely the tube cranked.
Like very consistent. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that doesn't always happen. And you have, once it's on there and you're cranking, there's nothing you can do about it. Like it's just, you get what you get, right? So it's really nice. Now I knew that I bought the tube already cranked from her. So I wanted to see what her DK was like how wide the tubes were. Because I wasn't sure, like, do I want to keep my 50? Well, obviously I'll keep my 54, but I thought, well, maybe I'll want to order the 48 cylinder. I'm undecided. I think I'm happy with the ones I did on the 54. And then I ordered a second tube because I just liked the colors. Oh, yeah. So this is it's a little more mauve on the screen than in real life. It's more of a taupey gray color, and that came with the two minis as well. So these are DK yarn sets that she puts in her shop. And again, I don't think this one had a color name either. So yeah, kind of fun. If you have to do a lot of gift knitting, which can take a lot of time, or there's always people that want, love what you see, or they see what you've knit and love it and say, will you knit me some? And I knit for me, and there's so much I want to knit for me. So for me, tubes are a great way to be able to do that. So now I can knit. And the nice thing is you can find out their foot length, and then there's plenty of guidance for where to put the heel, you know, to have it fit if you know someone's shoe size / foot length, like either or both, then you can do that for them. So that's kind of nice. And then it's also for me, like the extra that's left over, if I can get another pair of socks, well, then I can have one for me, and I can have one that's, you know, a gift, or if somebody wants me to knit for them.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of dyers are doing that, selling the tubes with minis. So
Minis.
yeah.
You know, just a quick little story here. So on these Norwood Naughty Knitters group that I go to, there's a lady there. Her name is Jardine Strong, and she created this called the Strong Heel. So I was, you know, visiting with her, and she gave me the pattern, and she was showing me her binder, and all of her children, all of her grandchildren, everyone has a page, and it has all of their measurements, and as they grow, she gets new measurements of their foot, and some of the smaller ones, like she'll actually draw it out on the paper, and her binder is just incredible. And this lady's been, you know, knitting for 70 years probably, you know. So yeah, just a wealth of information. But I do have that pattern for the Strong Heel, and I would like to knit that next, is find a yarn and then just knit, try her Strong Heel. So
yeah,
there's no, it's like a heel and flapping gusset, but it's not.
Is that the one you said you don't have to pick up stitches?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, until I actually try it, then I'll have a little bit more to talk about on it. But I just thought it was really interesting that,
cool.
I kind of know somebody famous, another person famous other than
I've definitely heard of the Strong Heel, and I always thought it meant like strong, like sturdy, but it was named after her.
It was named after her. Yeah.
And I think there are people, so you cannot find her pattern anywhere. I think was it originally published in either a pamphlet or a magazine?
It was a magazine. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I have seen people that have used the Strong Heel technique in patterns, right? So yeah, you can find it that way. And did she have other designs? Like, did she publish other?
Yeah, she has one. I forget what the name of the technique is, but it's color work, but it's down through the back and then through the heel flap.
Oh,
it's really cool. I'll have to show you. And again, she gave me a printout of it. I haven't really like looked into it to kind of like get my mind wrapped around what you're doing, but it was pretty cool as well.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, and she used to work for White Buffalo Wool.
Okay.
Brandon. And yeah, she was there kind of doing some design work for them for a little while too. So anyways, very interesting life story.
Yeah, that's cool. Good. The people you meet through knitting.
Yeah.
I think that's all I had to talk about. We do have another. Did you have anything else?
I was just going to show 2 yarns.
Yes, please.
2 batches of yarn. Okay, so I was very, very lucky to have won a prize through the Unwind and Knit with Me podcast. She's out of New Zealand, Lisa. And when Noelle was down there, she actually got to meet Lisa and had a little interview with her. So I was really thrilled to have won her birthday giveaway. And part of it was this yarn from John Arbin. John Arbin. And I thought, that would look really pretty with some sparkle. So it's just a thread.
Okay.
Just a thread. Got it off of Amazon. So I'll be doing something with this. I don't know what yet, but I just knew that all would pair together.
Yeah. That's
Really,
perfect.
really pretty yarn. And then with that group, or with that prize, I got a leather bag.
Nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's got a really nice lining inside of it. And she gets these made in South Africa.
Wow.
I don't know if it's South Africa, but in Africa. Anyway, so I guess this pattern is a very traditional pattern that it is used within the group who makes them.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's got pockets on the inside and on the outside.
Nice.
It's beautiful and really nice. It's soft, but it's thick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a really beautiful prize package.
That is. Yeah, nice.
And then the other yarn that I have that I got when I was at Woolstock, and I just haven't done anything with yet, but I will be, is the Sweet Paprika.
I love that.
And I'll be pairing it with the whole Titicaca.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. Probably going to be doing a love note in this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because red is one of my favorite colors. And so I have it all ready, just haven't done anything with it yet. So that
would be, if you probably will, if you finish that before you come in October. And if the weather's cool enough, because October can be both here. But yeah, if the weather's cool enough, that would be really nice to wear to Woolstock.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Now I can't remember. Did Sweet Paprika have their own booth, or were they in a booth with other?
No, they had their own booth.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, one last thing. I don't know if I have anything else to show off. I don't think so. And really, if I did, it's just more yarn. So. I have a mini skein to give away, and this was dyed by TK Fibres. They have a mill and they dye yarn, and they are the organizers of the Crank-In I went to last fall, and they are the organizers of Woolstock in Paris. So they took over organizing that event. So so they had at the Crank-In in the fall, they had some skeins of yarn there, and I picked up a couple minis. So this little mini is so beautiful. Be great heels and toes. And so to win this, we are going to ask you to comment below using the word summer. And I love reading the comments. So maybe just the word summer, it'll still be entered, but add a little more to it.
Yeah.
You can just comment summer, but
leave
a message and comment something about summer. MaryAnn and I were both just talking about, the gardening and the flowers and how nice the weather is. And I think summer is my favorite season. I don't know if it's yours, but I love the warmth. I love being able to, go to the lake, and I love being able to be outside, and I love all the color of the flowers. So I finally got my patio done and all the big planters planted, and I have a lot of cannas, which are tropical, and they will grow taller and fill out. So everything's kind of small right now, but it'll get there. So comment below using the word summer, and the next time we have podcast, there will be we'll draw a random winner from this. MaryAnn is going to be, I'm adding MaryAnn as an admin in our Ravelry group. So you may see her, conversing with you there. And a reminder again about our two knit-alongs, the new to me technique or new to you technique of anything with lace, and then the year-long sweater make-along. So there's some beautiful sweaters in there. I'll quickly mention, I just recently saw a sweater that has crochet granny squares down the sleeve.
The sleeve. Yes, I saw that too.
So there you go. The sleeve detail, right? Isn't that neat? So I thought you could do this on any sweater pattern. Just you'd have to do a little bit of math with your gauge, and then for your sleeve you'd have to I don't know if it's a set-in sleeve. It's hard to tell on this. It might be, but you may have to just then do knit to the edge, or leave it and sew in your strip of granny squares, or knit your strip of granny squares and then pick up along the edge and knit your sleeve and then set it in. I'm not totally sure, but I just think it's so cool.
Yeah, it's very fun.
What a stretch activity, right?
Yeah.
So maybe someday. There's too much I want to knit. The next I got to finish my sweater. I did want to knit another summer t-shirt, which probably won't be finished in the summer, but whatever. I'm always a season behind because I take too long.
Well, there's always going to be another season, so
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you, MaryAnn, for joining me today.
Well, thank you for inviting me as
Yeah,
well.
it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope that this StreamYard gives us better functionality. And, you know, when Lisa's back to join me, it'll be neat to try with a third person. Because one of the problems with Zoom is the audio and the fact that it focuses on the active speaker, so it'll cut out the other person, and it's really tricky. But this is seems to be a little better. And we did a test the other day, and the quality of the audio and the video seemed pretty good. So I'm hoping.
Yeah.
If it's not, please don't come at us. We're just giving this a try.
Amateur.
Yeah, amateur. And with the free version, I have to accept the logo at the top. Although, yeah. And then this platform will allow us to do live broadcasts eventually. So if we wanted to go live on YouTube, we would be able to do that. Yeah. So we're giving it a try.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been fun. Have a great summer. We will be back before the end of the summer. It won't be that long, but yeah, everyone have a great summer. Thanks for tuning in to watch us. Make time to make something.
Yeah. Stay cool and cast on.
Keep on casting on.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.